What up, fam? You're listening to Drop It Like It's Doc podcast. I'm your host, Dr. DeLuna, your favorite spicy doctor, educator, and yogi. And today, we're going to be talking all about breast milk. So when I say we're talking about breast milk, I'm not talking about if you're breastfeeding. In fact, I'm talking about breast milk if you're not breastfeeding. Because if you're breastfeeding, you're supposed to be lactating, right? There's truly a baby sucking on your teat, sending a neurological signal to your brain that you have something to feed. But if you do not have a small child suckling on your body, you should not be making breast milk. I kid you not. I put it on my new patient paperwork because way too often I find individuals, both male and female, that are producing breast milk when they are not A, pregnant, B, postpartum, or C, in the vicinity of a baby. So this whole thought process, I really kid you not, started when I was a child. I remember reading 17 magazine, and there was an article in there of this girl who said that she was producing breast milk, and she was just like a young girl, and she said that she started making breast milk because her partner was sucking on her nipples. This is a real thing. If you have that chemical input to your body that there's something that you need to feed, your body's going to make milk. Just pause and think about how fucking cool that is that your body will do that. That is actually mind-blowing. Know in some cultures that grandmothers and different women from the community will breastfeed other people's children because it's really that simple to make breast milk. But that's all with the intention of feeding something, right? What if you don't have that intention? The ability for your breast to produce and expel milk is made with a few hormones, but the main hormone is prolactin. It is truly a pro-hormone to make and lactate. And this is in sync with a few other hormones in your body. Prolactin interacts with dopamine. Prolactin interacts with some thyroid hormones. And the reason why I'm sharing that is because if you have some other type of hormone imbalance, or if you have significant stress and a few other things that I'm going to get into, you might be producing breast milk when you should not. So I'm not going to do this on camera. But the next time that you're naked at home, just smoosh your boob, squeeze it out like you're, milking a cow, and see if you produce breast milk. If you do, you probably have high prolactin. I find high prolactin in my patient population all the time. Don't Google it, because if you Google it, Dr. Google is going to scare you. Most of the time, I don't find that prolactin is elevated due to a pathological condition. However, it can be. It can be. You can have a tumor in your brain. That's not what I'm talking about here, babies. I'm not talking about that. It could be functionally elevated. The reason why you can be making a lot of prolactin is numero uno, high stress. High stress creates a chemical cascade of hormones that will tell your brain to make more prolactin. That's one thing. Not having any joy in your life, having no dopamine, can also give you higher prolactin. Being a chronic marijuana user, and I'm honestly a big fan of marijuana. I am. I like it. I think it's medicinal for many people in my life. But if you're someone that smokes weed all day, every day, and now you're producing breast milk, you're probably smoking too much weed. Something else that I see a lot of as well is low thyroid function, or hypothyroidism. And low thyroid function has an impact on all of your hormones, but it really can influence prolactin specifically. So I find that oftentimes irregular periods, which is a very common sign of prolactin, because prolactin swims around your blood, talks to your pituitary gland in your brain, and shuts down the communication between your brain and your ovaries. So you stop cycling, or your cycling can become a little bit irregular. So if that is going on, then sometimes when my individuals come in with an irregular period, I find prolactin is elevated. But that can also then guide me to look at thyroid function. So these are all little golden nuggets for you. Something else that I see a lot of with prolactin being elevated is different vitamin and mineral deficiencies, predominantly vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 pyridoxine is very common in animal protein, and it's common in a lot of other food sources, but it's also very often deficient in a lot of individuals that I work with. If you've ever been on hormonal birth control, you're probably deficient in vitamin B6. Even if you took it 10 years ago, you're probably deficient in vitamin B6. Know that having low levels of vitamin B6 and suicide are highly correlated. We'll talk about that in a future little mini because that's not cool. But other medications can also make you depleted in this vitamin as well. So kind of to recap this, if you squeezy your beautiful breasts, I hope that you love them. Massage them while you're at it. But if you squeeze them and milk comes out, you probably have high prolactin. And I'm not just talking about women. This could be happening in men too. There was actually someone in my middle school that this happened to because he did have a tumor. You don't have a tumor. You're probably just stressed. You're probably smoking too much weed. You're probably B6 deficient or you have a thyroid issue. Regardless, you need to get that checked immediately because there's so many things that you can do to get that down. First of all, if you're stressed, you got to work on that. The stress will slowly kill you. I kid you not. 2, you probably need to take some vitamin B6 if you're deficient, right? You don't want to ever overdose yourself in anything. Medicine can be in the form of supplements, but supplements can also push your body in a different direction. So you want to check all these things. You can support your thyroid. You can absolutely work on your ability to self-regulate, but be mindful that that's not normal. It's not normal. There's a lot of things that are common, but they are not normal. So if you want to check out your prolactin levels, let me know. If you're producing breast milk, definitely leave it in the comments below. If you're breastfeeding a child, I'm not talking about you, remember. If you're not breastfeeding a child, yes. But if it's because your partner's sucking on your nipples, that's the answer, right? All right, if you liked this info, this is just the tip of the iceberg, babies. You need to like this. You need to turn on your notifications because you're going to want to see these videos as they pop up. You're definitely going to want to subscribe to all things Dr. DeLuna because we're going to take a deeper dive. Enjoy feeding all your children with your breast milk if you have them. If not, enjoy feeding yourself.